Welcome Home Radio Podcast. Are you looking to buy or sell your home? Our team is here with answers to guide you through the buying and selling process. We encourage you to ask questions. Please comment on this show or visit us at welcomehomeradio.net for more information. Bringing real estate, lending, and education together in one place, and to help you make the right home decision for you and your family.
And welcome to Welcome Home Radio. It is April 24th, where real estate lending and learning come together. I'm excited about today's show because we're going to have a local brokerage firm that I know personally are going to talk about what's the ups and downs in the real estate market. How are they handling the situations? What are the challenges clients, sellers, or listers or buyers are facing? So, and with me, of course, is Thom, who's always there. So I want to welcome Kenneth and Rob. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Yes. Thank you for having us.
Well, what an exciting time. I appreciate it. I'm sorry your dad, Luther, couldn't join us, but we wish him well on his test. Yes. I hope it all goes well. Guys, introduce yourselves, and Kenneth, we'll start with you real quick. What do you do? What exactly is your position, as well as your philosophies on a few things, and then we'll let Rob jump in, okay?
Yeah. My name is Kenneth Huggins. I'm the broker owner of Huggins Realty, located here in Frisco, Texas. Our philosophy in real estate is a little bit different, I think, than most brokerages. We have a philosophy of building generational wealth. And so that goes for our clients and for our agents who are involved with us at the brokerage. So in our brokerage, we talk a lot about, hey, if you're making money in the industry as an agent, you need to be buying rentals or flipping houses. And on the flip side, you need to be teaching your clients how to buy rentals and flip houses as well, because there's so many different facets of real estate. And we don't think you should be pigeonholed in just to one of helping buyers and sellers sell their houses to move up and move down. I think you need to cover all aspects of things. So that's kind of our philosophy and what we go really hard with every single day with our agents and our buyers and sellers.
Awesome. Rob?
Yes, good morning. Thanks for having us. So yeah, I'm Rob Hammond, and I'm the office manager at Huggins Realty. I'm as you can tell, I'm a little bit older than Kenneth, and I'm an older broker agent, transplant from California. I was in real estate for a long time, and came to Texas about 7 years ago. And as an agent, I did realize pretty much exactly what Kenneth says, that most brokerages are single dimension. They buy and so they help people buy and sell houses. Well, with Huggins, our philosophy is exactly what he says, and that is to create generational wealth. And it's a philosophy that I've always had. My parents were big into buying rentals and keeping, and Kenneth's family, their philosophy is exactly that. You know, they help all of us, all the agents do it, and we encourage them to do it. And we also encourage our buyers and sellers to be property owners. I think it's there's not a rich person in the world that doesn't have real estate in their portfolio.
That's great. We recently had Jim Fight of Judge Fight on, and one of his basic things he told his realtors is, and he believes, is just pick up your phone. Communication, answer your phone. What is y'all's philosophy when you tell somebody new coming into the business or coming to your brokerage? What are those key things that make your successful realtors?
Kenneth, you want to take that for now?
Look, and that's huge of answering your phone. I think in our industry, you find that most people don't. For whatever reason.
Why is that?
I personally believe because a lot of times when, like, let's say a market's hot, right? And you have a home on the market, you have agents calling you constantly trying to get the upper edge for their client and for their buyer and try to buy your house, right? So that's what I've seen a lot of times, where agents just feel like, hey, I'm not going to answer the phone anymore because all of the information is on the internet and on MLS for the agents to look at in order to make their decision on the home that I'm listing. That's the philosophy that I see. I think agents don't like to answer questions sometimes, but you need to educate the opposite party as well. You need to be an advocate for your seller or for your buyer. So, hey, answer the phone. And as you answer your phone, you're just going to get stronger, better, be able to negotiate better because you've been in the fire so many times. But I think that's why people don't answer their phone.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
And I'll agree with Kenneth a little bit there. Now that texting has become such a huge thing, I think a lot of agents have kind of backed into the idea that we'll just text everybody, which is wonderful. However, in this business is relationship built. And if you don't have a verbal communication with people, you lose so much of that relationship building process. And that's where, the rubber meets the road. Honestly, you need to have that relationship verbally. Texting just doesn't cut it. But I think a lot of people have, like I say, relied on texting. But you got to answer your phone. When I'm in charge of recruiting for the office as well. And that's like the cardinal sin. Don't answer your phone is a cardinal sin. You got to answer your phone.
Right. And being in the industry, I guess to touch on your question again, Blair, I think you just have to be visible as an agent whenever you get into the industry. Everybody always talks about don't be a secret agent, right? And so the way I feel like we say stay visible is go to lunches with potential clients, go meet people, for me, I like to play golf. I mean, you've played golf in the past. Like I like to invite people to go to the golf course. You get to know somebody a little bit more when you're there with them for 4 hours.
And you'll notice I'm not playing golf with you anymore because you never let me win. So,
Right.
Hey, want to bring up something talking about real estate and ups and downs. The housing market is really unique right now. It's dealing with the dual affordability constraints that are really pricing. One, home prices are rising. That's a challenge. You've got to make more money to be able to buy in. And then, of course, interest rates are high compared to what most people think that are coming into the market. Now, Thom and I and Rob, I'll put you in our category. We've dealt with 10, 12.
And we're sorry about that, Rob.
But, everybody thinks interest rates are high. So you got a dual obstacle to overcome to get buyers, for listers to be looking for to get offers. What is your take on those two major issues, and what do you see for the rest of 2024?
Me or you, Rob?
Go, guy. Well, my opinion, and I think I'll even throw in one more thing, Blair, is inflation. Inflation is taking a toll on everybody's spendability at this point as well. So you're right. We did come from an older time when interest rates at one point were 15, 16, 17%, back in the late 70s and early 80s. So, we bought our first house at 11.5%. But again, home prices were quite a bit cheaper. Inflation was actually coming down. Fuel prices was still high, but they were coming down. So I think it really is a matter of perspective. And it's hard for especially younger folks to come into a market when they have seen nothing but 2 and 3 and 3.5% interest rates to all of a sudden be in this 7 is hard. And like you say, home prices, and I think a lot of people kept thinking that home prices would come down, but there's so much demand on such a low inventory that this business is supply and demand driven.
We're not going to have a housing crash like people are saying.
No, compared to the 08 and 06, 7, and 8, there was a huge amount of inventory. That's why we had a crash. Now we have no inventory. So I think you need to educate buyers, be them young or old, in those very few, and it ain't rocket science. You just point out a couple of things, and I think people will understand that this is where we're at. And they just have to come to the realization that they may not be able to buy as much house as they want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to get Thom started, but his first home was a cave, and at 19% interest, it was kind of tough. But
right.
They chiseled their contracts into rock.
No, it was a log cabin. It was a log cabin.
Into the cave. But looking at the business and, the start of January 2023 to January 2024, we had 189,000 loan officers in the country. In January of 2023, we're now sitting right around 79 to 80,000. The same thing happened with realtors. 600,000 came out off the market. I mean, this wasn't it was either a part-time job, they're not paying the fees anymore, or, they weren't getting the job done, not able to find business, something along that line. We see a continued decline of loan officers in the industry. Do you see the same thing, or a thinning out of the herd, or do you see opportunities? What would you say to a realtor looking to come in, but also what do you say to those folks that are struggling in the market?
Yeah, I think we're seeing all of the above. I think it's a time for agents who have been in the business a little bit longer, that they really dive into what's worked for them. But I think that people in the industry, if their business isn't where it needs to be right now, they need to look, have a look in the mirror and say, hey, what do I need to do differently? I know for me, and having the brokerage, I was never into getting like real estate coaching because I was never at a big brokerage where they ever pushed that. But I had a couple other real estate buddies who were in real estate coaching and they really loved it. And so I jumped in 2022. And while you're in coaching, it's not the best thing in the world. It's not a lot of hoorah. It's about just doing the small things every single day, and building relationships every single day. And what I've seen these last 2 years after being in coaching, my business has grown and been the best it's ever been because I'm putting all the tools that they gave me in coaching and carrying that into my real business now. And so I just think for all agents, like you really need to double down on relationships and maybe get a real estate coach, so that you can track your business, because you want this thing to continuously grow for you and be there for a lifetime and be able to provide for your family. You don't want to go through these ups and downs. And so in order to not do that, I guess as an agent, you need to take the proper steps, years before, so that you can carry on years later.
Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Kenneth. I think there's a lot of, like Kenneth says, a lot of the older agents who have been just cruising right along, and the volume has dropped so much that we do need to take a step back and look at the basics of being a realtor. Find out the 1, 2, or 3 vehicles that work the best for you for generating leads. Go out there prospecting. And this is what I tell the folks that I'm recruiting. I kind of start out my presentation with a reality check that 80% of you people will probably quit by the first year, and that's kind of a harsh thing to say, but it's the truth. And we, as a brokerage, want you to be part of the 20%. And so what we do is we help you develop systems that fit your personality, and then encourage you and teach you and to work those systems. And just realize that it is kind of a long game, and that you're not going to get rich overnight, but you can get rich if you kind of follow what we do, and do what we say. And that's kind of our philosophy, is to help these people become part of that 20%. And like I say, just go after the things that work.
Right. Smooth out those ups and downs, because the roller coaster ride's not fun. You can have those great months, and then you can have those 0 months, and that can be a challenge. So
yes, it can.
Thom, you okay?
Yeah, I was thinking about a roller coaster ride being okay or not. And, what roller coasters are always great. We're used to living with roller coasters. If we're in real estate, that's kind of part of the deal. My question to you guys is, a lot of my experience in the past as a realtor, when I used to carry a license back in San Antonio and did business 4,000 years ago, as Blair pointed out, selling caves. And there are lots of caves in that area, just so you know. There's natural bridge caverns, and there's a bunch of caves there for sale. But when I used to do that, I realized I had to remarket myself. I had to change the way I appeared in the marketplace. Do you see that with agents today taking that on? Because I lived through recessions. I lived through great, periods of real estate sales. And I lived through the time where things balanced out as well. How do you train today's, and, maybe I want it now generations, and that includes baby boomers, by the way. But how do you train them to negotiate this mentally when they're going out there trying to be better agents, when they're trying to get out there in the marketplace? Because, and I'll just give the example. When 2008 rolled around, I realized suddenly at one point, hey, I'm not selling anything. And then I went back and went, well, this is a great time to buy. How do I get investors under my belt versus people that want to move up in the housing market? Because those people were not moving up in the housing market. Unfortunately, many of them were losing their houses to that point. Right. But how would you address that, Kenneth? Or
no, yeah, and that's kind of like our philosophy as a brokerage. We're a little bit different, and this is a long game, and we want this to be a long game for all of our agents. One thing for me personally, when I got into the industry and I was selling houses, right, I would come across clients and they just said, hey, you can be making good money, but make sure you're saving your money, because they know, like, hey, real estate is a roller coaster. And little did they know, every single time I was selling a deal and I was making money, I was buying a rental house for myself, right? And so fast forward, I think I started buying in 2015. It's 2024 now. I own 10 houses that are going to bring in 6 figures a year. Perfect. And so we really want our agents to be able to, again, this is a long game, start early, start buying rentals, start flipping homes, because you want to get into a position to where, yes, I want the business, but you don't come from a position of I need the business, right? And so we kind of teach and train our agents, hey, be very attractive to other investors and other buyers and other sellers and people who may want to buy investment properties for their kids. You just need to become very attractive. And how do you do that? Be a product of their environment. Say what you're teaching them to do. And that's why we teach a lot of our agents buy rentals. So a lot of our agents are buying, flipping. So we're able to speak to everybody in the real estate game and not just one person. And so that's kind of how we combat the roller coasters, by being successful ourselves, not even worrying about selling, buying at that time.
Right. Yeah. And I'll add to that too. The beauty of the roller coaster is you can, in this business and with our brokerage, is you can make money when it's going up or when it's coming down. So when the market was really strong, of course, we were, as a realtor, it was big fun. You couldn't do anything wrong. And then as the market kind of started to taper just a little, I personally, my wife and I, we flipped with the brokerage with Kenneth and his dad. We flipped 6 homes in like 17 months. We were just on fire, because the market allowed that. And then as prices kind of, got too high and you couldn't buy them correctly, then we just did retail. And now with the market kind of swinging back the other way a little bit, now you can buy them and hold them. And so you can make money, like I say, when it's going up or going down. And because of Huggins Realty, you have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And we put seminars to find investors, but we also make sure our agents are investors so that they can capitalize on all angles. We don't want to just make maybe the commission of representing an investor. We want a piece of the pie too.
How large is your brokerage?
We have, I think we're sitting about 37 agents right now. 37 agents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where do you like to be at the end of this year?
So Rob and I, we've never recruited at Huggins Realty. It's always been word of mouth. I know you, you know me. We want to do business together. But Rob and I just started recruiting at Champions, a month ago, maybe? Mm-hmm. And so we set a goal to get to 75 agents at the end of the year.
And you have a career fair coming up here, right?
We saw that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. You guys definitely use the Dallas or Fort Worth campus and put yourselves out there, because that is a great location to be able to do it. You don't see a lot of those types of fairs throughout this, even the state, except being put on by us, which I love the fact you guys would participate in that. That'd be a great opportunity to get to that 75 agent piece.
Can you hear the pride in Thom's voice about camping school?
Well, I have to go to those darn things, and since I'm there, I don't want them to be nobody show up.
Right.
That's in May, by the way. May.
Okay, what's the date, time?
I was just about to look it up. I knew I'd put my foot in my mouth. It's on a Friday, May 18th.
I don't know, but I know we got an email about it. Rob,
Yeah, I think we're already signed up.
And we'll keep sending you one until you sign up. May 17th. There we go.
No,
Oh,
we will be there.
So with the up and downs, with the goals that you have, what do you see your greatest obstacle that you have to overcome?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of negative media out there about the real estate market because everybody's, interest rate seems to be the big mantra. Inflation can't, everybody's scared about that. The home prices are high. So right there, you got the media beating the band about how negative the housing market is. And yet on the flip side of that, there's a huge percentage of people who still believe that owning a home is the right thing to do. And it's just a matter of how do we get there? So
how is it, and I agree with you, Rob, the media has caused a huge, with social media, internet, a huge influx of understanding of net worth. Now, net worth is made up of my liabilities and debts to my assets. And those people that have a net worth of $500,000 or more, 75% of net worth is made up of owning a home. Mm-hmm. Now, how can you get away from a mindset that you think renting or leasing is the best thing for you and your family whenever owning a home has given more freedom, more flexibility, and more growth, like our home that we bought in 2006 and has already tripled in value, and I outright own it. That's why I'm not moving. That's why I'm not taking on another mortgage or there's no reason for us to move at this time. But my net worth is fluctuating. How can I not educate a buyer of saying, look, interest rates are what interest rates are, but housing prices continue to overcome and you're investing in yourself. Let's go make your future. And one of those key issues is owning a home. It was part of the American dream. Has the American dream died, or are we just trying to squish it with the media? What's going on here? Because it seems like.
Uh-oh.
I think they froze.
We lost you.
Both of them, right?
Well, I'm okay. No. I think he's got enough in that question to kind of talk about the building of this generational wealth we're talking about. How do you go about passing that on to people?
I think for me personally, it's being able to get in the right room and having the right conversations, because like I said, I like to golf with a lot of people and talk about real estate. I have those 3 to 4 hours to really get down into the weeds of, hey, what is it that you want to accomplish? Or what is it that makes you scared about buying a home, right? I talked to one of my high school.
Did we lose everybody?
Huh? No, you're there.
I just don't. What I was trying to say, how do we overcome this with education for our buyers and sellers? How do we make sure they understand investing in themselves is a good thing?
Basically, you have to get in the right rooms with people. It has to be a timing thing where people are wanting to talk about, their future. A lot of people, because they're listening to the media, they feel like it's just not a good time. And I guess we can educate them based off of what we've done in the past or what we've seen people done in the past is, hey, take these people who bought 3 years ago. They're sitting on a lot of equity to where they can now do a home equity line of credit where they could sell their home and they can cash out and have these funds available to buy their next home or do what they wish with it, But it's getting people in the right room at the right time and really dive down deep into why is it you don't want to buy, And I think in real estate, we don't necessarily want to make people buy. We just want to listen and we want to help facilitate whatever they want, but we also want to educate them so that they make the right decision. If they say that's just not something they don't want to do, I'm not going to push them to buy a house. If they don't want to, they don't want to.
Yeah, I'll agree with Kenneth a lot on that. And some of the things that I'm hearing, especially from first-time home buyers, is they are so scared that this is a housing bubble, and they just think that prices are just going to plummet, and so they don't want to pull the trigger. And yet you can just educate them, and you can use a perfect comparison to the 06, 7, 8 thing to now with this business is a supply and demand business. That's all it is. And values are just what they are. And comparing the inventory then to the inventory now, the demand then to the demand now, it's not even apples and oranges. And so the idea that there's going to be a crash and that they're just so nervous about buying now, I have been able to get a handful of people to go, oh, I get it. Okay. And so, they're ready to pull the trigger. I think that's the biggest thing. They're just really, really nervous about home prices plummeting. And so you just have to be able to show them the data and then let them make up their own line. Like Mike,
you ever want to tell people, never stop looking on the internet. Stop, reading all of this sensationalized reporting as opposed to let's look at facts. I love what I call bulletproofing your buyer because it educates them on what the market is. And like you say, comparing this to 2006, 2007, 2008, the number of buyers at that time, as well as the inventory, was astronomical, really. And now there is such a low inventory and such a large number of buyers coming on the market. You can't stop people from marrying. You can't stop people from dying. You can't stop people from having kids. There's always people needing to buy, come into a home, or upgrade or gain larger. So it really comes back down. Let's get things to a reality check instead of sensationalizing, in my opinion. So what else would you like people to understand about Huggins Realty? We got about another 3 minutes here. What would you like them to understand? You guys do some buys, you do some sells, but you also do flips as well as long-term flips or rent, flip to own. What would you say is the unique thing about you?
Yeah, we cover all bases. I know if any of the listeners want to come to one of our real estate investing seminars that my dad puts on, I could put the link in the chat below. And basically they can come and we have every single month, we have a real estate seminar on how to invest in real estate. And so it gets people, through the door, and you get to learn about all facets of investing. And so that's for 3 hours at Stonebriar Country Club every single month. And it's a 2-part series. So if they want to learn a little bit more, they can be a realtor, they can be a broker, they can be a buyer. It doesn't matter who you are. You can come and learn from us of just what we do at Huggins. And how
let's put Kenneth and Rob's communication or contact information up there so they can anybody can contact you guys and let you know where that seminar is. And you can be an investor. You don't have to be a realtor or anybody. You can simply be an investor looking to grow your net worth. And so I think it's a great opportunity. Y'all are great to work with. Love it all the time. Thom, do you have any final words?
No, I really appreciate the offer, though, as far as the additional education part. Anytime, I'm a big believer that I did not learn everything I learned in real estate in a day. I think sometimes we have an expectation that we go to people and we hear, blah, 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 this is how I do it, blah, 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 and then you're going to immediately just be like them. Everybody's personality is different, and we have to listen to those people that are doing it the right way in our industry, and that's what you guys are doing. And I really applaud you with being able to extend to just about anybody being able to come. As a matter of fact, I may come to your dad's seminar. I teach investment strategies, and the more I learn about investment strategies from those people that are being successful, the better off I really see myself becoming in today's world and being able to pass on generational wealth. I personally came from some pretty humble beginnings, but I'm pretty proud to say that, one day my grandkids and great grandkids will have their education paid for because of real estate.
Right.
So I really appreciate you guys' efforts and what you're doing for the public.
Well, what a testimony. What a testimony. Thank you guys for today. Thank you for taking the time and sharing with us the ups and downs, but how you're smoothing those out for people. And be sure to share, find us at welcomehomeradio.net. And hope your day, April 24th, is a great one. God bless. Y'all have a great one.
Thank you, Thom.
Very welcome. Very welcome.
Thank you, Blair. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Welcome Home Radio production provided by LUNATIC Digital. Check the listing of this podcast for the links to our sponsors. And don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media. Visit welcomehomeradio.net for more information. This was a LUNATIC Digital production. Visit lunaticdigital.com for all your digital needs.